Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have started the topic nucleic acids. There we have discussed that they are polynucleotides with high molecular weight. And we have also discussed these polynucleotides, they are made up of nucleotides. And further on, we have discussed that each nucleotide molecule is made up of three different molecules. The first we have discussed, which was a nitrogenous base. The second we have discussed, the pentose sugar in the form of ribose in the case of RNA, in the form of deoxyribose sugar in the case of DNA, and a phosphate compound in the form of phosphoric acid. Later on, we have also discussed about the different types of nitrogenous bases. They were further categorized into purines and pyrimidines. Purines, they were double ring compounds, whereas the pyrimidines, they were single ring compounds. We have discussed the pyrimidines, they were again of three different types: cytosine, thymine, and uracil. Cytosine and thymine, they are present in the case of DNA, but in the case of RNA, thymine is not present. Cytosine and uracil is present from the group pyrimidine. Whereas in the case of purines, adenine and guanine, these both types of nitrogenous bases, they are present in both the DNA as well as RNA. We have also discussed that when a pentose sugar is added to a base, the nitrogenous base, it may be any one of the purine or any one of the pyrimidine, then it forms a nucleoside. And when nucleoside is added to a phosphate group, a phosphoric acid, it forms the nucleotide. So, we'll discuss about the formation of a polynucleotide strand, that how do these nucleotide strands they are formed. Now, suppose we have drawn a pentose sugar which is of the deoxyribose type. In the deoxyribose type, we have discussed the OH group here, it would be replaced by only the hydrogen atom. Means one atom of oxygen is less in the case of deoxyribose sugar at 2' position. So the pentose sugar is joined by purine ring at the position 9' position. So this is the 1' position. Here the hydroxy group is there, and here is the NH group. So here it condenses and it forms the bond by the removal of water, and here the bond which is formed between the nitrogenous base and the pentose sugar is called as N-glycosidic bond. So this is the case for purine. For the case of purine, the nitrogenous base, it combines at the position 9' to the 1' position of the pentose sugar. But in the case of a pyrimidine ring, the position of 1' nitrogen, it gets combined to the position of the pentose sugar. So here again it will form the same type of bond, and that would be also called as N-glycosidic bond or N-glycosidic linkage. Now, as we can observe by the addition of a nitrogenous base, maybe this purine ring, maybe adenine or maybe guanine, whenever it is joined or attached to a pentose sugar, a nucleoside is formed. Just like here we have drawn the structure of a pyrimidine ring. When the pyrimidine ring it joins to a pentose sugar, a nucleoside is formed. Now, we have discussed when the phosphate group is attached to the nucleoside, means nucleoside plus phosphate. If this group is attached, then it forms the nucleotide. So phosphate, we know it is in the form of phosphoric acid, which is S3PO4. So at position 5 prime, the phosphate group it joins to the pentose sugar. So the pentose sugar at the position 5 prime it joins with the phosphate group. So we may write it here, the phosphate and here at position 5 prime the functional group was there CH2OH. CH2OH. So again there would be removal of water, one molecule of water, and the bond that would be formed between the phosphate and the pentose sugar, it would be called as phosphoester bond. So now this is the structure of a nucleotide, means it is the building block of the, we can say, the nucleic acids. Just do like in the case of a pyrimidine ring also, where we have formed a nucleoside, we have to write here at the 5th position CH2OH, that is the functional group for the pentose sugar at 5 prime position, and we will write here the phosphate group, phosphoric acid, P double bond O, OH, OH, OH. So here again a molecule of water would be removed away, and the bond that is formed here, it would be also called as phosphoester linkage. Now suppose we have made it here two nucleotides, the first nucleotide molecule and the second nucleotide molecule. Now again they are also joined to each other. Then a strand of polynucleotides would be formed. So we'll discuss that how that it takes place. So here in the 3rd prime position of the first pentose sugar, which is at top, it joins with the phosphate group. So again a molecule of water would be removed away, and then it will again join with this nucleotide molecule with the help of a phosphodiester bond. So whenever a nucleoside is joined to a phosphate molecule, then it is forming the phosphoester linkage or phosphoester bond. And whenever two nucleotides they are making a strand, then it gets linked to each other with the help of phosphodiester bond. Now like this, a strand we may form it here, just like we may observe at the top position, the phosphate group, this would be free terminal, this would be free end. So at this position, we can observe the 5' carbon atom is the free end, and whereas at this position, the 3' end would be the free end. Now we'll discuss about the molecular structure of the DNA. So keeping the chemical composition in view, James D. Watson and F.H.C. Crick proposed a double helix model of DNA in the year 1953. He proposed that each DNA molecule is composed of two polynucleotide strands. Means suppose this is a one strand and the other strand is also present there, which is forming a, we can say, double helical structure. So these two polynucleotide strands, they are intertwined in a clockwise fashion around a common axis and are connected together by steps like a ladder. So the two polynucleotide strands of a DNA helix lie together in such a way that their nucleotide bases, they remain at the center of the helix, while the phosphate group, they lies on the periphery. Suppose here we have drawn two strands from the first pentose sugar, just do we are writing here the base adenine is joined. From the second pentose sugar, guanine is there. Suppose for the third one, cytosine is there. For the fourth one, thymine is there. And do we have discussed that at the 5th prime position, they are having the phosphate group. Just do like here, at the 3rd prime position, it would be joined to the phosphate group. Likewise, it is forming a chain. So that do we have made a single strand, or we can say a polynucleotide. So now we can observe the backbone is made up of a pentose sugar and the phosphate group. So the backbone is formed of the phosphate and pentose sugar. That we can observe, a polynucleotide strand has been formed. So we can observe the two polynucleotide strands of a DNA helix lie together in such a way that their nucleotide bases, they lie in the center of the helix, while the phosphates, they lie on the periphery. So means pentose sugar and the phosphate, they forms the backbone, whereas the nitrogenous bases, they face each other. And the bases, they are also, we can say, complementary to each other. Means to say, the pairing is very specific, because one pyrimidine base, it can pair only with a purine base. Suppose this is a purine base, this is adenine. So it always pairs with the pyrimidine and which is of thymine type. So adenine, it always pairs with the thymine, just like the guanine is there. It is also a purine. It will always show base pairing with the pyrimidine, and the pyrimidine is cytosine. Just do like this is a cytosine, which is a pyrimidine. It always pairs with the purine, and that is of guanine. Just do like here thymine is there. The thymine, it is also pyrimidine. It always makes pairs with the purine base, and which is adenine. And this base pairing is also specific that these two nitrogenous bases, they are also bonded with each other. Adenine, it always binds with the thymine with the help of two hydrogen bonds, whereas the guanine, it always binds with the cytosine with the help of three hydrogen bonds. Cytosine, the same way, with the help of three hydrogen bonds, it would be bonded. And thymine, it would be bonded with the adenine with the help of two hydrogen bonds. Now we can confer one conclusion that the two polynucleotide strands of a DNA, they are complementary to each other. That is, if the sequence of nucleotides in one strands, if we are knowing, we can determine the sequence of the nucleotides in its partner strand. So the sequence in one strand, it decides the sequence of the nucleotides in the other strand. So that we have discussed just now. For example, if the sequence of base in one strand is adenine, then the sequence of the base in its partner strand would be certainly thymine. Just do like if the sequence of the base in one strand is guanine, then the sequence of base in its partner strand would be certainly cytosine. Now, one more property. It shows the two polynucleotide strands of a DNA helix, they run anti-parallel. That is, in opposite directions. One strand has phosphodiester linkage in 3' to 5' direction. For example, in this case, we may observe at the 3' end, it is having the free end, and at the 5' end, it is showing the phosphoester linkage. So we can say that at one of the nucleotide strand, it is having at top 5' end, whereas the other, its parallel strand, it would have as 3' end at the top end. So one strand we can say is in the direction of 3' to 5' end, whereas the other one is in the reverse direction, that is from upside to downward, 3' end to the 5' end. So we can observe 3' end is the free end in this case of nucleotide strand, and the 5' end is towards the downward direction. So we can also say the free 5' ends of the DNA helix lie at the opposite ends. In this case, 5' end is at the upper end, whereas in this case, the 5' end is at the lower end of the nucleotide strand. Just to consider, we can imagine this is a polynucleotide strand made up of nucleotides. This one is the other polynucleotide strand, and they are also joined together. We have discussed the nitrogenous bases, they lie in the center, whereas the backbone, it is formed of the pentose sugar and the phosphate. Just do like here also the backbone is formed of the pentose sugar and phosphate, and the double helical structure of the DNA, it is in right-handed fashion. One more important fact, one complete turn around about 360 degree means each complete turn of the DNA helix, it covers a distance of around about 34 angstrom. and within each complete turn 10 base pairs would be there. So we can calculate simply by going through the fact that one complete turn it measures a length of around about 34 angstrom, and there are total number of 10 base pairs. So the distance between two base pairs, it would be 34 divided by 10, it would be around about 3.4 angstrom. So the distance between these two base pairs, it is around about 3.4 angstrom. So these are features that we have discussed about the DNA regarding the distance and the base pairing. They are for the bDNA. There are more than dozen of forms that we'll discuss in higher classes. So in the diagram part, we may go across that two strands of the polynucleotide strand has been shown here of the DNA. Here we may observe this end is having the 5' end and this end is having the 3' end. Whereas the counter strand is having the 3' end at the top position and 5' end at the lower position. And we have discussed that the nitrogenous base, they lie in the center and the backbone is formed of pentose sugar and the phosphate group. And the base pairing is also complementary in nature, means always a pyrimidine, it pairs with a purine. Means this thymine, it is a pyrimidine, it always with a certain purine, and that purine should be always adenine with the help of two hydrogen bonds. Whereas this guanine is concerned, this is a type of pyrimidine and this also always pairs, this guanine is a purine, it always shows base pairing with the help of cytosine, that is a type of pyrimidine, and with the help of 3 hydrogen bonds. Till so far here, thank you, have a nice day.